Today is all about wedding cake cookie. And you're probably here because you're trying to understand how to build this one out with your gear. So that includes our toppings, our biscuits, and we're going to break it all down for you in today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. If you got questions, comments, let me know. I appreciate your support, and we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server. Now, a couple things here about this particular cookie. We're going to give the breakdown of this one. We'll give you the biscuits, we'll give you the toppings, and a lot of key considerations for this. Many of you have been asking me in the comments, in the DMs, in the Discord, all kinds of socials. So this is one of my favorite things to do. Get you the gear guide, and that is what we're doing here today. So let's get into it. First and foremost here, wedding cake cookie. Couple things about this. This is the latest grace cookie in the new update here. We got a magic cookie, we got a middle laner. Couple things about this one here. So we do have anything for the bride. Now this thing is a 15-second cooldown, so that might be a tip right there. We'll talk about that in a second. Turns the battlefield into a luxurious wedding aisle. The guests, your team, receive periodic healing, while enemies sustain periodic damage. Summoned creatures become stunned. Additionally, wedding cake cookie will increase the team's attack and crit damage. Wedding fireworks deal additional damage to enemies and stun summoned creatures. If Black Forest Cookie is on the team, she will gain the Star of the Hour buff. I really like these combos with these different cookies. I think it's super important they play off each other, and giving you some additional ways to play these things out. Now, a couple things here. We do have Wedding Aisle damage here at almost 50% of attack every 0.5 seconds for 3 seconds. We got Wedding Aisle stun for 1 second. Wedding fireworks damage 73% every 0.25 seconds for 1.5 seconds. Wedding fireworks stun at 1 second. Healing to allies 122% of attack. Attack plus 5% for 10 seconds stacks up to 1, and then crit damage 10% for 10 seconds stacks up to ×1. Now here's what we got though. Star of the Hour, we get cooldown minus 10 seconds plus Wedding Aisle additional damage to summon creatures 352%, then applies Star of the Wedding buff to Black Forest Cookie plus 20% attack speed plus 10% crit damage for 12 seconds. Now I want to pause here just for a second. This is the first time, and you can correct me in the comments if I am wrong, because I like being corrected, quite frankly. However, I think this is the first time, I'm going to say this again, that we have an opportunity to stun summon creatures specifically and deal additional damage specifically to summon creatures. Why does that matter? It matters for a couple things. It does matter for PvE, and it can matter for PvP, and it can matter for your events. So 3 reasons. What does that help with? This can help with like stage, I think it was like 1830 with the big baddie that you got to fight, Smoked Cheese, as one example. So very important there. And then when you stack it with wedding, the wedding buff there for Black Forest Cookie, you're getting additional pieces. Now we did do a free-to-play player guide. I'm calling that out here on how to get that cookie. If you see this after, that's your thing. So that is very important. Now let's go ahead and break this down even more, because you want to know the biscuits, you want to know the toppings, and you want to do what with this cookie. All right, so a couple things here. First, we got to level it up. If you got any of these pieces, you can absolutely use those for your fast levels. I got plenty. We're going to take advantage of that. I like to upgrade. What's the nice thing about this? You can see what the damage looks like. You can see what the Wedding Aisle damage is. No, my friends, we're not going to max this out, because that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to 60. A lot of events give us an advantage. We can always build these out more. For now, we're going to go with that. Okay, so we got a good buff increase. We see those increases, makes a difference. All right, so what does that mean? Couple things here. When we look at this moveset, the first thing that's missing is any elemental type. So maybe this will become an elemental type in the future. If not, what does that mean in terms of our Beascuit? Well, if you do get an elemental type, make sure that you align the elemental type. It could be something like light or something else. So you could do that. Otherwise, what do we need to do? All right, we're not going to use electric. We're not going to use that. We're not going to use those. Let's find a cookie that makes sense. I don't want to move too much around, but let's go ahead. We'll equip this one for now, because I'm not using Smoked Cheese. All right, so we're going to use this legendary zesty biscuit to help us kind of think about this particular cookie. So what does it mean? Again, When we go to our bonus effects, the first thing that's going to matter here is you do get access to damage resist bypass. If you want to make this more of an aggressive attacker, you can do that. Now, again, we do have that damage over time, so you can take advantage of that piece. Can depend on your team. Now, additionally here, though, if we do have those bonus effects like these, where we got electric damage, again, depending on which one in the future, you can take advantage of that. All right. Those two pieces, enough said. What do we want to focus on? Well, in totality of our gear and our biscuits and our toppings, totally in totality, and how we want to build this is a couple things. It's going to stack on attack. Attack gives us more attack damage, gives us more damage, and it gives us scaling on healing. Very important. So attack is actually really nice for us to have. Now, additionally, cooldown. We're at a 15-second cooldown. Now, the longest cooldown piece on that segment was 10 seconds. So you need to get rid of at least 33% on your cooldown and get that. You can get that through bonus research, all that other stuff, all your other benefits. Not always the case, though. So this can be a great spot for you to add cooldown. Those are the two key components. Now, outside that, it can be probably a squishy cookie. So damage resist can be very nice. So I would prioritize outside of damage resist bypass and any elemental thing, depending on when you watch this, is definitely going to be attack and definitely going to be cooldown. Outside that, you're going to want damage resist, survivability, and those pieces as well. So great to think about. When we look at this, we got damage resist, we got attack speed, not great, but we got cooldown. Perfect. All right, so now that we figured that out, what does that mean for our toppings, my friends? So it's a great segue. Well, in this case, we have new toppings. We do have resonant toppings. We can't use radiant cheese, but we do have some new ones here. So what does that mean? In order to show you those, I don't have them yet, so unfortunately, and we can't get them there. Let's see if they are here. There we go, right there. Contents, I have 0. Right here, we got Sacred Vow toppings. You have Sacred Vow toppings for Wedding Cake Cookie. Yes, you can absolutely use these on these cookies. And here's why. You got crossover where you can use it. Mozzarella, Financier, Schwarzwälder, Caramel Arrow, if you need to. And they also have access to other stuff. Well, not all of them do, but not Schwarzwälder. So those are key things to think about, my friends, in that particular perspective. You also have Black Forest here. So, all right, now that we've covered that, you can absolutely use those because they're getting so much more generous here in terms of those pieces. What does that finally mean, my friends, in terms of those toppings? Well, if you're following along and get where I'm going, there's really 2 options in terms of what I do, maybe 3. So the first one that I would absolutely do is, assuming that you don't have all these extra things here, my friends, is going to be this. We're going to do a multiple upgrade, and we're going to add these ones right here. We're going to want 6 or 5 of our Swift chocolates. So 5 Swift chocolates. I would do a Swift chocolate in the new wedding toppings, they're resonant toppings, and here's why: because you're going to get better substats, absolutely. In our case, though, and in this one in particular, we're going to add them right here because we're heavily focused on cooldown. All right, so there we go. Now we got everything in there. The second set that I would consider is this. I would go with a raspberry. I would go with raspberry for this key reason. This still is, if you go back to it in core, a magic cookie. Magic's going to deal damage. If you got scaling on healing, it's essentially a hidden support cookie in terms of a magic. So you can think about it as a blend between support, but not truly a damage cookie, but have access and scaling on the attack. Another reason to do that. The third set of toppings that you can consider is Solid Almond, depending on where you're at and depending on the survivability of this cookie and depending on what you're doing. It can be PvP, PvE, and events. They all make a difference. You could use all 3. Where you're going to want to start, though, is most likely this, and you're going to do that because of a few reasons. Is because of the scaling here. Once you get to that 33%, you can start to think about attack. Now, couple things on this, though, as well. What do we need in terms of our substats? Well, our bonus effects, if you're on the resonant, are going to be capped, and they're going to be more isolated, and they're going to be better. Here, you definitely want attack, you definitely want damage resist, and you definitely want cooldown. I would prioritize those 3 on everything. So we got cooldown, defense, cooldown, crit. We got cooldown. All these should be cooldown, defense HP, and cooldown, defense, damage, resist. So the whole thing here is more survivability and attack. We didn't get any more attack. In this case, we'd like to hope that our Beascuit then has more attack. We got attack speed. Ideally, we want attack. So that is how you want to think about it, how you want to build this cookie out for your gear between your Beascuit over there and your toppings right there to help you succeed and be successful with this particular cookie, wedding cake cookie. Now, my friends, let's go ahead and do a run, and we will try and solo with this. Ooh, beast rate, I like it. Look at that, my top score. Wow, look at that. You get extra access to this given the updates, and this is why we do guides like this. Is all for you here on the channel. Love it. All right, world exploration. We're gonna go all the way back over here to Crispia. We like to go, we'll go out of master mode, we'll go to dark mode. We'll go all the way down here because this is where we've been doing it forever, 829. If you haven't seen our other guides, my friends, a great time to check those out here on the channel. They're available to you. We give all these breakdowns, additional tips and tricks. We're going to run with just wedding cake and go for it right here, my friends, so that you can see exactly how this cookie is going to work. You're not going to get access, though, unfortunately. We'll go a little bit faster to see some of these other things. Look at that. Pretty cool. Nice. Now look at where my cooldown is. 6 seconds. I'm at 6 seconds. Huge. So quickly being able to get that off makes a big difference. We got access to all these other pieces. That's something you're going to need to think about in terms of your team, in terms of your healing. A great way to stun lock, again, summoned units or creatures from your opponents, or in this case, during your PvE runs. All right, look at that. Awesome. Wedding cake cookie. We are. It is a win. All right, there we go, my friends. That is everything that you need to know about this particular cookie here today. Our brand new cookie, super exciting, very diverse, and has some new key things that we haven't seen before. Again, let me know in the comments if I was wrong, because we like to be wrong. And sure, because we're about crowdsourcing information here in this community. Now with that, that is Wedding Cake Cookie there at Wedding Cake Cookie's Finest for you here today. A breakdown of this particular cookie, the biscuits and the toppings, and ultimately the gear to help you be successful here as you continue to move forward. With that, if you still got a question, if you got a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server. Additionally, thank you so much. I truly appreciate your support. There's many ways to do that, and everyone counts, and I truly appreciate it. Now with that said, stay tuned because we got a ton more here on the channel all the time. And until next time, my friends, keep on running.